Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast. We took a little break last week. My hair is doing some crazy things, bless it. But anyway, if you're listening, you're like, we can't see your hair, woman, but this is on YouTube also. So anyway, today I have Tiffany. We were in Winter Buds. Is that right?
January.
January Winter Buds. My first group coaching session experience on Mighty Networks. Whoa. And she's still with me, so apparently I did something right. That was a process, Tiffany. All right. Oh man, well, I appreciate it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into some THM things, okay?
All right. I am 44. I am married. I have been married for almost 27 years. I have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. I've got 29, 25, and 19. So all of mine are pretty much grown. I just have one still at home, and I work with my husband. So
yeah. What do you do for work?
Me and my husband run a Golden Corral here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of talks about that, don't we? Yes. So when did you just start to do THM?
I want to say like in the summer, like July, August, I was kind of dabbling. I didn't like fully jump on the trim train till like January, because I was like,
yeah.
My niece would answer questions, and I would look, and I was like, but I didn't know anything. I was eating on planned foods, but I was not eating them properly. Like I'd be like, it's on planned food. I was juggling so many fuels or tandem fueling because there was no, because I didn't understand, like, so I'm just like, it's on planned food.
Right.
I lost weight doing it, but I wasn't doing it when I took buds. I was like, that's what I was supposed to be doing. That is not what I was doing. Okay. Now we know.
That's so funny. I love it. I love it. I love to hear your story of how we met. Would you please share that with everyone?
I will. My niece still lives in Mississippi, where I moved from. I did live in Summit for about 3 or 4 or 5 years. And my niece Stacey still lives there. So I was coming to my great niece Ruby's birthday party, because you don't turn down an invite when Miss Ruby invites you.
Right.
Sweet Ruby with all her expressions. And so I'd gotten to the party, but I'd already was watching something my niece posted, and it was a video of you making the breakfast burritos. And so I'm over here like waiting on everybody to get ready. And I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. I like this little breakfast burrito. And then I got there and I was like, hey, that's the lady that I was watching on TV, that on the internet, like that was on YouTube. So it was kind of weird, because you watch YouTube videos all the time, but you don't like meet somebody when you were literally just watching them on, unbeknownst that I would actually see you at the party. So that was kind of cool.
That is neat. And yeah, she was like, I think she's fangirling just a little bit. I'm like, oh, it's fun. How are you? DTHM is best. Follow me on my Facebook.
And I do on all the socials.
You do. And then she finally, and that was in the late summer, I think. And then you finally did group coaching in January, and you hadn't left, I don't think. Oh yeah, you did take a little break, but that's a little break. It's a little break.
I think the accountability is good for me, and just like, I don't have anybody here that does it. So like Stacey and now Madison are the only ones that I have. And so, but I don't know. I feel like I think I've done so many things and tried so many different things and lost weight and gained it back and lost it, that with THM, it's like all those little, almost, I won't say failures, because I did good. I just was learning, prepared me to, I don't know, THM is just so much different. I don't feel deprived or like I have to focus on what I can't have. I'm focused on what I can have. And to me, that's a lot. So you're not gonna hurt my feelings. You over there eating Doritos or Oreos. I get to eat trimtastic cake. I ain't worried about you.
Talk to us about the your weight loss journey, like you're gaining and losing throughout your adult life.
Well, I went into surgical menopause at 30. I'd had 2 surgeries 11 months apart. I had a partial hysterectomy when I was 30. And then right before I turned 30. And then I had 11 months later, I had the rest of it, because I just wasn't doing well on its own. Bless it. Those little ovaries just didn't want to act right. And so nobody really prepares you for what that does to you at 30. And I did some like bioidentical hormones for a little bit. And when I had one ovary, it was fine. But when I had, it taxed that other little ovary out, and I couldn't seem to maintain the same, like when I first had this surgery, I lost 60 pounds. I had gained and lost over pregnancies or just whatever. I'm an emotional eater. So if things in my life go good, now I don't have that really worry, but before I did. So it seemed like I would gain it and lose it, or I would get pregnant with, I got pregnant with my youngest. I had lost weight and I was like, okay. And then my mom passed away when I was 27. And I was like, okay, gracious, I'll just be fat because I'm just gonna, I was in the kitchen eating all the things and I wasn't even hungry. But I think I wish I could tell that younger me now, like, hey, you just need to give your adrenals and all your stuff some love and just some support. And I didn't. So I did the best I could at the moment, but I haven't been on any kind of thing for probably over a decade. Wow. And then didn't realize, I was like, well, this is just what I did to myself. And this is how I'm supposed to feel, not realizing, and when you focus on the bad, that's all you see. So it was like, well, this is just my lot in life. I'm just going to be heavier because it's not fair and it's not easy. And it's not, but it can be done. You just have to have the right tools. And THM has just really helped me. I don't know. I don't feel like breaking the rules or bending them till they break. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it just makes sense and it's easy for me to maintain. There's not really a question of let's not do THM because I know how I felt before THM. And
for sure,
the weight loss is great. But I said when I started Buds, I'd already lost about 25, 30, just dabbling. I was like, if I don't lose another pound, but I can continue to feel better, I'm okay. So we're not going to give those pounds back. I've lost them. So I'm glad about it. The feeling better is the biggest thing for me.
For sure. When you started Buds, how did you feel about my Ditch the Scale challenge?
Oh, I struggled about that. I was like, oh my mercy. I stepped on the scale every single day. The problem is the lie I told myself was, when I had my hysterectomy, gluten started to bother me. So I'd already been trying to do gluten-free. It was not that successful because sometimes I would cheat and then my stomach would hurt and I'd be like, well, and it was kind of a vicious cycle because I never could quite fully just cut it out. Now it's funny because gluten doesn't bother me. I think I've healed my gut and just the ancient sprouted grains don't seem to bother me. So I don't struggle with that as much. I still don't press it, but I was like, I step on the scale every day because I need to see if my weight went up. Maybe I ate something that had gluten or whatever. And that was the excuse and I really believed that, but I had become a slave to that scale. So when you said that, I was like, does she know that I step on this scale every single day?
She does know that people do that. That's why she makes that challenge.
I was like, okay. I said I was going to do this and I'm paying her to learn this. So we're just going to go all in. So I stepped on it when we first started and weighed myself and did all the measurements. And then I literally gave it to my daughter and said, here, put it in your room. I don't want it. And so I didn't step on it until right before we did our last fully final with the measurements and stuff. So
that's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Once a month. So
yeah,
that's it.
Does that give you so much more freedom though? But my goal there is for you guys to focus on trusting the plan and learning the plan and trusting me and not judging your success by the scale. Because if you're doing what I'm telling you to do, most of the time in the plan, most of the time you're going to decrease your size, your weight, your inches. Yeah. It doesn't happen for every single person because there's a lot of underlying medical conditions, but that's my whole
that was definitely the thing. And then taking the pictures and the measurements, because even when you step on the scale and it doesn't move, even though I said I didn't care if I lost any more weight, when you step on the scale and it doesn't move, you're like,
you're disappointed.
So it was kind of a little disappointing, but the fact that I could see and clothes were fitting differently and my measurements were going down. And I've always been one of those, like, don't fully pay attention to what the scale says, because people will look at me and be like I had a lady the other day ask me at work and I'm like, why is she asking me how much I weigh? And when I told her, she said, where? I was like, here, like me. So I've always carried that weight, I guess, well, or better than some people, but I just feel like everybody's got their own weight that's ideal for them. Whereas if you and I were to weigh the same, we would carry it differently. We would look differently. So I've always told my girls, like, don't pay attention to what the scale says. Like, just go on how you feel and how your clothes fit. If you're in a size that you're comfortable with, then
yeah.
So I never paid as much attention, but I didn't realize how much of a slave I'd been to that scale. So I'm glad you said to ditch the scale, because literally once a month now is all I do. And that's really just because I haven't hit goal weight. And I'm like, let's see how close we
are. You're getting there. Yep. Yeah. So, I feel the same way with the size clothes. Like if a certain pair of pants of mine are tight, I know I need to, get back on my game. Not that I'm eating off plan, but I may be enjoying crossovers too often or personal choice, which for the month of June, I'm doing a little personal challenge along with Coach Canada with our Having On Plan Summer group we're doing. And then, I just always like to challenge myself with you guys too in coaching, but I'm going to do no crossovers and no personal choice at all in the month of June and just kind of see how I do. And I will tell you today, I had a little stressful morning. Sure did. And for lunch, I really wanted a crossover grilled cheese. That is one of my comfort foods, apparently, because I was like, nobody will know. I'll just do it. It'll be fine. And then I'm like, yeah, they're going to know because I'm going to take a picture of my lunch. I'm going to post it. So I didn't. I went ahead because I had an E breakfast. I knew I needed an S lunch. I do not do well with 2 E's in a row. I don't know about you, but I don't do well. And so anyway, I just fried up my normal little eggs and yellow squash and had some berries and I made fudgeroons for the first time. So I had a little fudgeroon with it. And that's what I had for my lunch. I hit all my little check marks. So my goal would be, the no crossovers and personal choice, going ahead with that. And also that just kind of helps me keep tabs on if I'm doing the crossovers too much, because I am at goal weight. And so I think it's okay to have them, but I have had them frequently for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. I was talking to Madison. We were FaceTiming in the grocery store yesterday, and I have just now started adding some personal choice because I'm a little bit of a rebel on some things, but I'm a rule follower. So it was like, at first it was like, well, I don't want to eat that because it's off plan. I don't want to have to list off plan or personal choice. Because, well, I should say off plan. I didn't want to list personal choice. So like when I noticed that the Lily's was no longer, I'm like, well, I can eat chocolate chips with my nuts. I'm good. I'm not going to eat the candy bar because I don't want to have to check that personal choice on my tracking sheet.
Yeah.
So I bought some lavash bread for my husband and he hadn't eaten it. I'm like, why is he wasting this? Let me taste and see. And it's delicious. But like, and some people add that in and that's fine. That's their journey. But to me, I'm just like, I don't want to get in the habit of starting to add all these extra things in. Cause like for May, remember I did no snacking if you're not tracking. That told me right there that I was doing a little too much snacking and they were all on plan things, but they weren't being beneficial to my journey because I was getting in so many calories more than I realized with just this small little helping of nuts and some Parmesan crisp were keeping me farther from my goal weight. And so,
explain what you were doing with the snacking. You were having it in between meals and snacks. It wasn't like a real.
I would have it at night and I would have it like 3 hours from my last meal, but it's like, I wasn't putting it on the sheet. Like I would have already posted for the day and accountability. Oh. And then you think like, oh, well, nobody's going to know. And it's not like it was off plan, but I just realized how much that was keeping me when I cut that out. When I started to see the scale move again, I'm like, well, that's why your scale wasn't moving because you were doing all that because you don't realize because you're not tracking it.
Yeah.
So you're hungry and I want a little something. So instead of you're telling yourself no, or girl, you're bored, go get a glass of water, get your sippy cup.
You said that last night.
So you snack, and so you don't realize until it adds up and it shows up on the scale, or your clothes not fitting any differently, or things not working the way you want them to. And so it's just constantly tweaking that journey to see what, like last night I had a snack. I was really hungry. I'd eaten a lower snack. I'd done my work in and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to wait and I'm going to post this. So if I eat it, I post it. But if I didn't track it, I only did one day. And really it was like 2 bites at my mother-in-law's house, but I was like, well, I didn't put it on there. So we're going to count that day. But all of the days except for one in May, I did not, if I didn't put it on my tracking sheet or my post for the day, I didn't eat it. So
awesome. I love that. I did not quite understand what you were saying, but now I get it. That's great. I love it. So your journey into THM was a little dabbling and then you jumped in with coaching. Would you say once you started coaching, you were able to just get on pretty quick and just kind of run with it?
Yeah. Good. I was on 100% except for when I took my trip with my son to Orlando because I had planned. And that's the thing that I like about THM is there's no shame or guilt. Like you say, you're #grown woman, you do what you want to do. I didn't make that choice out of guilt or shame or like my people going, well, come on, you need to have some fun. I made the choice ahead of time that I was going to have an off-plan drink, but all my food and all the things I ate were on plan except for like 1 or 2 bites. But I didn't stress about it. I didn't feel guilt or shame. I made the choice to eat them. And I had a little sample, like 2 bites of something my husband had and the margarita. And then the rest of my stuff was on plan, and it didn't bother me because I didn't feel like, oh no, I've let myself down or I've hopped off the train, because then I was right back on. And I had made the choice previous to do that. So I didn't feel like in the past where, you're like, I'm going to be strong and I'm not going to do anything. And then you get there and you're like,
Yeah.
well,
Yes. You
so,
talked about emotional eating earlier. What did that look like before THM?
oh, I would just be, sometimes I wouldn't even realize it. Like, I've always, like, if it's funny because before, when I lived at home, if I got upset, I wouldn't eat. And once I got married and had kids and all the things, if I got upset, I would just eat. And like when my mom passed, there was probably took me 2 or 3 weeks to even realize that I was not even hungry. And I would be in the kitchen just eating for the sake of eating. I wouldn't be hungry. I wouldn't have wanted it. And I think it was just, I don't know, it's what I'd always done. And so it was just a way to like stuff those emotions, but that doesn't really work. That's why you keep going back to the kitchen. So it wasn't serving me well. It's just in the moment, it did make me feel better. But, when you see what that does long term, you're like, eh. So now, like if I'm upset or I'm whatever, I don't think about, well, let me go eat this chocolate or let me go eat all the Doritos or all the things. I don't keep that in the house. My husband has a few off plan things because he'll eat dinners, but he's not on plan. I don't buy it, and it's not a temptation. I mean, I work with the Golden Corral, like for heaven's sake, there's all kinds of things. I don't even used to tell them like this, I'm not looking at that. And now I just walk past it like that doesn't bother me. Y'all can have that.
That's awesome.
It is not. I bring my snack in my little lunch bag with my sippy cup on the desk. So when I'm hungry or I eat my snack, because I usually eat lunch late, I ate it right before we got on. But I have a snack at work just for my timing. So
yeah. Very good. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's incredible.
Thank you.
It really is. Why don't you go ahead and tell us, if you don't mind, and you can share weight measurements or maybe just the total loss, whatever you're comfortable with, size clothes, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. Where you started and where you are right now.
All right. I started at 232 and I am, last time I weighed on Sunday at 177. So I've lost 54. I wish I would have measured because I did not measure until buds. And so, but since January 9th, I have lost 30 1/4 inches.
Oh my word.
Neck, bust, all the things. And I was in probably either a 1X or a 2X, depending on or how loose I wanted it, because I didn't want it to hug to my midriff. And I'm in a large. I won't get too small. I'm still a little heavier up top, but my pants, should have been in a 14 because I have pants now that I wear that are too big. I remember when I first bought them, they were so tight, they hurt my stomach, but I'm not going up another size.
Yeah.
And they should have been a 14, but I could squeeze into a 12. And I say squeeze because I was squeezing into them. And now I'm in an 8. I can wear an 8.
Oh my gosh.
So I think that's why when people ask me, they're like, how much do you weigh? And they're like, where? And I'm like, well, just here. But I'm
that top half.
And I'm more muscular than most. So I don't know, that just takes up less.
It does. It does. It does. You're right. I love muscles on a lady. They're my favorite. My girls, when they're at dance and they're performing and they do their little arms out, I'm like, look at their muscles. I love it.
Well, I didn't appreciate them when I was younger. I played softball for like 7 years when I was younger. And to me, I was the odd man out because nobody looks like me. All the girls I went to school with weren't very heavy on top, and they had very thin, spindly little legs. And I had this big leg muscle, and I was like, look, I'm fat. My dad's like, no, you're built like a brick house. You're not fat. Like that's, but to me that was because I stood out, and it was like, that's different. That's wrong. And it's really not. I mean, I appreciate it more now.
Yeah. Sure.
But I didn't then. I was like, oh no, something's wrong.
Oh, well, I am super proud of your progress. That is excellent. Absolutely excellent. So when is your 1-year trim-iversary?
Well, I'm counting January 9th as my 1-year trim-iversary. It was on plan because that's my official, like I made the commitment there that I'm going to follow this plan to the letter, and whatever you told me to do, I was going to do. And so other than a few planned off plan, and mostly just like off plan drinks, because really food is not, it's crazy to me that I really have not thought about. And I'm kind of like you when I've heard you say that THM is non-negotiable. I know how eating some of those foods made me feel. So really it's not worth it to me, but I don't really crave them anymore. Like when people ask me questions, like, well, don't you want this? Why? I have 3 different kinds of Trim Healthy Mama desserts in my freezer. If I wanted a piece of cake, I'd pull one out. I ate one last night. I pulled it out of the freezer. That other stuff doesn't tempt me anymore. So I'm counting January 9th. And I even have, it's funny you said that, I have a card on my desk that says January 9th, 2023 is my 1-year term anniversary. Because
Oh,
we're already counting down. We're
yeah.
gonna get,
So 6 months will be next week.
yes.
Your 6-month term anniversary.
So
I mean, I think we should celebrate all of them.
probably
So
should.
we should. So talk to me about working. Do you consider yourself a full-time? You work full-time?
No, because I'm only part-time.
Okay.
Now obviously because it's our business, we're operating partners. We have a partner, but we run the day-to-day operations. You do take a lot of it home with you. I remember coming home today and telling him about some delivery we got, and I'm going to meet them there an hour early tomorrow for them to come, but it's still part-time. Now I do have my real estate license. I do that part-time, but really, since COVID and having issues with staffing, I don't do that as much because it's hard to know when I can for sure leave the restaurant. Some days, hey, so-and-so didn't come. I need you to stay for a little bit longer. Or I need you to go handle this, that, or the third. So, but it's still part-time. Our schedule's pretty flexible. If I need to, travel or do things. When you work for your husband, you can just be real sweet and bat your eyelashes and be like, babe, I need to take some time off. Like what I'm gonna do when I come down to Mississippi to see everybody. I'm gonna be like, babe, I need to take time off. So
I love it. So how do you navigate kind of the new 6 months of being really on plan with THM with working?
Just being prepared. I think people think it's corny when you hear, and I even got an email today, I think from Coach Amanda, that said, you gotta plan. I think about pretty much everything I'm going to eat the day before. I don't obsess about it like I would before. Like, oh my goodness, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do? I just have a plan. I keep my lunch bag. I take it in and out of my truck every day. The night before, I've got my little Pioneer's plate, salad plate listed out for my breakfast. I've got my skillet. I make my breakfast. I usually just eat a snack at work because, like I said, I choose to eat a lunch later just because I feel guilty sitting down to eat, even though I run a restaurant, that I'm at work. So I usually try to get something quick, a little cup of yogurt. Today I had one of those coffee drinks that we can have, got 10 grams of protein. So literally I just think about, okay, what are you going to take? Do you want yogurt? Do you want Wassa crackers with, lunch meat and snaps and some fruit? Or do you just want something quick that you can drink? Sometimes I'll blend a smoothie and put one of those little sleeves that keeps it cold, and I'll just take it in my little ninja bullet and I'll take it to work and put it in my lunch bag. I don't have issues with that because I literally just come in and put it in my lunchbox, and then I have a timer on my Apple Watch that goes off, and I go, okay, it's time. I need to be making my way to the office. Now, sometimes we get behind and I'm helping them on the register and I can't leave. So it may be a little off and I might be a little over my 4 hours. I don't freak out. I just go, okay, drink it now and you'll be fine. It was fuel pull. You need to eat in 2.5 hours instead of 3. You're okay.
Right.
So I'm always prepared that way. And then I have extra things in there because you just never know when you might end up late at work.
I know. You just never know, man.
A couple of more probably S snacks because they're easier, like beef sticks and stuff like that. But I keep those. I have a go bag, but I keep extra in my lunch bag because I just say I don't want to ever be out and then have to run an errand or something happen and me not be able to fuel. So I keep extra stuff in there just so.
That's a good girl. That's a good Coach Amy client right there. Very proud of that. I always think like if there were just 2 things I could teach y'all, and I'm like, I can't stick with 2. It's a lot. I need y'all to know everything. That's awesome. So what is one of your favorite Trim Healthy Mama recipes? You can give me a couple if you want.
If it was an S, it would be crispy salmon siesta, which by the way, husband's favorite. He is actually said, babe, you can make that once a week. I'll eat that once a week. And then my favorite recipe right now is probably the chicken fried double rice. I love that for some reason. I think it's just so easy, and I feel like I whip it together and I feel like I'm eating something I shouldn't be eating. So I'm like, oh, I like this.
Well, good. That's awesome. I mean, that's the way it should be, man. That's awesome. What about the cakes you were talking about? What do you have in your freezer right now?
I have the Trimtastic cake, which I think is my favorite. I have the Reese's poke cake, which I think is my husband's favorite. And I have the caramel apple bam cake, but the Trimtastic without the peppermint is my favorite. I'm scared to make it with the peppermint because I'm like, what if you don't like it? Like I like peppermint, but I don't know about my cakes. So I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. Well, I had that cake at the cafe and it was excellent.
Oh,
but I don't know if it's because it was from the cafe. I don't know that my version would be as delicious.
Stuff is just super delicious. There's probably something just about that. I keep saying, I told my husband, we need to make a trip to Nashville because I need to eat at the THM cafe.
Yes, you do. You do.
So
I'm just telling you, you need to go.
I have no need to go, but I said we just need to work a little trip, or either I need to talk Madison and Stacey and making a girl trip.
Yes.
We'll go drive to eat cake.
Yes. Go eat cake and have all the coffee and the matcha and the lattes and meet all the people. It's a fun experience. I'm so thankful that I've been able to go. I mean, I've been, 2 times to Nashville, but I think I've been to the cafe 6 or 7 times because I go every day.
So much to eat. I was loving all y'all's pictures. I was like, oh, like the Southern biscuit that was an S. I'm like, I need to try that.
So that will be a pre-mixed product that will be sold through the Trim Healthy Mama website when they're ready. But yeah, that will be sold as a mix, like the no carb easy bread. And y'all have no idea how delicious it is. Super, super good.
Oh, I bet, because I love the overnight biscuits. So I can't imagine how much those will taste.
Yeah, so good. And it's an S, and so you can make a little breakfast sandwich with it. I don't know. I don't know if the mix will be S or Fuel Pull. I don't know that information, but I know they're delicious and y'all should be very excited. Yes. Yeah. So, what maybe did you have to change with your eating? Like, what was one of the biggest struggles that you had changing your eating?
Really just mixing. You don't think about that you mix all your fuels, like you put fat and carbs together, because you just, like, you eat a steak, you eat a potato, or you eat a white roll. And so some of the bread wasn't as big of a thing, but like if I ate, like my favorite thing out at Outback used to be the Alice Springs chicken, which I can still eat. I just get the sauce on the side. But I always ate French fries with it. And so, you just tend to mix those. That was probably my struggle, and not really struggle as in not having it, just getting out of the habit. Or I used to think carbs, when you think of carbs, I used to just think like, oh, carbs is bread.
Yeah.
Carb is a potato. Not thinking about like the fruit. And like when I was watching on the gluten-free, I have a saying on here, if you give a mouse a cookie, and so I feel like when I was watching gluten, all the gluten-free things have more carbs in them.
Yeah.
Because they do. And so I didn't realize, and then I've always loved fruit. So I was just taxing my poor little adrenals because I was eating all this gluten, because I was like, if I can't have gluten, give me all the gluten-free things. I just want them all.
Right.
And I used to laugh because I'd say, I can have Doritos because they're gluten-free naturally, because they're made with corn. But Coach says that farmers use corn to fatten up livestock, and I'm not livestock, so I rarely. But
I love how you quote all of my things. It's the best.
I tell my husband too. He's like, I'm like, and the other day he repeated it back to me before I could say it. I was like, oh, look at you.
He's learning.
He's learning. I'm like, you can have that, but I'm a Trim Healthy Mama, so I don't eat that. And he just kind of chuckles at me, but he's been very supportive. So he may not eat all the things, but he's like dinner, like tonight, we're going to have the Trim Healthy pancakes that you did the other day. And so we're going to have breakfast for dinner because we love that. And so he'll eat all the dinners I make. And if there's something he didn't care for, I just make a mental note. Like, I love the quinoa goes Cajun. Mm-hmm. Loved it. He did not. He's always had a texture thing. I was like, that didn't hurt my feelings. I literally put a serving in a bag and flattened it, stuck it in the freezer. And then I had lunch for like 4 or 5 days, like at different times just to pull. So that wasn't me that he didn't.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What about drinks? What did you typically drink before THM? Like, water, tea, Coke, that kind of stuff. Diet Mountain Dew.
Diet Mountain Dew was like my jam. Like, so my jam. Like, my kids would give it to me for Mother's Day. Like, they would give me a 12 or 24 pack of Diet Mountain Dew. It was always or I drank sweet tea at work, or I drank coffee with lots of cream and sugar and all the things. But it's crazy because now I don't really miss that. That was the first thing I tackled was coffee. I was like, okay, little changes make a big difference. Start with your coffee. Don't put all those sugary creamers. That's not good. And so now I laugh because I have a little basket beside on my counter, and I bring in the little milk frother that you told us about. And I do cold coffee. I don't do hot coffee very often. So I brew it enough at a time to last me 3 or 4 days or most of the week. I pour it in there. I put my sunflower lecithin, my sweetener, and I froth it up, and I put a little MCT oil, and then I scoop my collagen, and I'm good to go. And I put almond milk, pretty much just like you said, just probably to trick my mind to think there's, milk in there. But
yes,
To me, it tastes better when it's in there. I love it when I can put a little heavy cream, or like this morning I put half and half because I had an S breakfast, but
Very good.
so yeah, but I gave up Diet Mountain Dew probably in November. I gave up diet. I was like, oh, you just don't need this. It's not good for you. I've been dabbling. I've been feeling better. I need to just kick it to the curb. You don't need it. And now it's crazy that I don't even miss it. Like, I don't even think about, oh, let me stop and get a Diet Mountain Dew. Or if I go somewhere and somebody offers, I'll just take water. I mean, most of the time I drink water, or I used to call them the crap water, which my daughter referred to me. And now I drink them.
LaCroix.
Yes. I was like, that is not sweet at all. That is awful. But it's because I was eating all the sugar in the thing. So it tasted like.
Now there's still some diehard THMs that hate LaCroix or other sparkling waters, but I love them all. I don't really think I've tried any that I didn't like. I was going to ask if you have done the Zevia Mountain Dew version.
I don't like it.
It's those are all super stevia strong to me.
I don't mind. I think it's just the flavor tastes almost a little flat to me. I do like the Zevia. My husband even drinks them now. There is a the multi-pack, the 24 pack.
Yep.
That came in yesterday. It's on the dining room table. I got to put it when we're done. But the creamy root beer is my favorite.
Yeah.
So I keep that one. In fact, my son's girlfriend for Mother's Day got me a 12-pack. I was like, bless her heart. And he got me 2 cases from Sam's of the buy drinks, the multi-pack.
Nice.
I'm like, y'all are speaking my love language. I told my husband, you can't drink my gifts, so don't touch them.
You cannot drink my gifts.
He did anyway, but he was not supposed to.
He's going to have to replace those. What's your favorite buy drink?
I like the strawberry kiwi. Okay. I did like the lemonade one, but it's kind of tart. I think now that as my taste buds continue to change, I'm like, I have to kind of be in the mood. And I do like the watermelon one, but the strawberry kiwi is the one probably that I would lean more toward. Yeah. But I've liked most of them. Some I'm not as big on, but like, I love coconut flavors. If they have a whole coconut pack at Sam's, it's a little much.
Oh, I'm cheap. So I do half a bottle, with some water. And so, yeah, but the coconuts would be my favorite. The coconut pineapple will be my top one. Yeah. But those are good.
That I liked. They were just really strong. And I guess I didn't think about I could add water to them because they seem like you could almost, the rest of them, I don't know. Don't drink them. I try to drink more water because I got to get those 100 ounces. So
yeah,
I try to drink the water before I drink anything else so that I'm not feeling, because that's what I would with Diet Mountain Dew. If I had it, I would just drink it all day long.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I wanted to say that I love something that you've already said, not even knowing about it, but you were like, we're going to have this for supper, and we have, like you have a plan, like what's going to happen, and you don't have little children in your home, and you're still planning. Have you always done that? Have you always planned your meals?
I used to be really good about it. Like when my kids were little, I used to remember making a menu I never did it for 2 weeks, probably because there was more of us, and I don't know that I could have managed that, but yeah. Now I do it for 2 weeks. But there was even a few weeks ago, like I went out of town and I had some things going on. Now I stayed on plan because I made sure I had things that would cover those meals. Like I went to my mother-in-law's, and I've never gone to her house on any kind of eating plan or diet or whatever you want. I don't call THM a diet, but I've been on diets where, she was like, well, what can you have? Or what do you eat? And she's always been sweet to me. But I was like, I'm a grown woman and I don't need her to provide for me. I bought a cooler, and I made sure I had it. I took my coffee and my collagen and my little baby formula thing, and I had all the stuff that I needed. And we ate out, and I knew I could eat on plan at Mexican. That's where usually our favorite. And I made the choices I could at Chinese. I didn't eat anything fried. I tried to stick away. And then I made a dinner. I brought stuff to make a dinner that I knew I could have. So that was just, I don't know. It's just easy to me. Again, I don't know if it's because I've done so many different things and this just feels different. I don't feel deprived. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. So I'm okay not to eat all the things.
Yeah.
That everybody else, which is crazy. Well, I never did your 100-day challenge on chips Christmas last year.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go through Christmas. I'm going to need to eat my things. I'll get hurt. So it's funny.
That was tough. I'm going to be honest. It was tough for me because, well, it wasn't impossible apparently because I did it, but I caught myself so many times. Y'all heard the dang Fritos. How many Fritos have I had mindlessly? You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's funny that you said that. Something that I love about you, you're a lot like me. You're like, I'm gonna eat THM. I don't know what y'all got a problem with, but I'm just gonna eat THM because all that other stuff makes me feel so bad. And I just wish I could kind of draw that off of myself and give it to everybody.
Yeah.
Because there are so many like emotional eating situations, which I do. I've done that. I have, but I have so much of a stronger just goal and desire for my life to feel good that it's just not worth it. And I am just going to distract the heck out of myself and move on.
But I think you have to get there. I think until
Yes.
you gluten, I'm telling you that I was dancing with the devil on the gluten, because I would eat certain things and I'd be like, well, that amount of gluten didn't really bother me. So I think I can have that. Or if I want the occasional piece of cake, yeah, it might be all right. And so I danced too much. It's like dancing with the devil. You're either in or you're not. And I feel like I kept skirting that line. And then I would wonder why my stomach hurt, or why I felt inflamed, or why my body hurt. And I equated that to other things that I didn't even realize. And it's like I told one of my managers at work today that works for me and my husband, I was like, you don't even realize how good you can feel until you do. And so again, THM is the only thing that I have not, because before I was going to stretch those limits as far as they could. Okay, we're doing gluten-free. We can have Doritos. We can have Cocoa Pebbles. We can have all the things, because I was trying to stretch. And I like how you said, please don't manipulate. We don't count calories, but please do not manipulate your fuels. Do not try to fit them in. It's like, I'm like you, I'm a volume eater. And so I laugh when I was trying to explain to somebody the other day, and he goes, well, baby, did you tell him that you eat a lot? Well, I didn't mean, I said, baby, it's okay. I know what you meant. I do eat a lot, but because I eat on a darn salad plate. So I'm not eating that much, but I said, it's okay, because I said for him, he wants to cut his portions way, way back. I'm not a rabbit. So I'm not going to eat a little portion like this, because I'm going to be hangry later and you don't want to live with me when I'm hungry. So I said, it's okay. I do eat a lot. But I said, versus before, where I might be like, well, I can have these 2 Reese's cups. That's 200 calories, whatever. I said, I'm not even counting the calories, but what you're trying to squeeze into this tiny little bowl thinking it's okay. I've eaten a whole plate and eaten less, and I feel more full and satisfied than when I ate all those empty calories of stuff. It's really crazy, the food freedom that THM has given me, that I really never thought that I would have. I never thought that I would be like, girl, I don't want that. I don't want Doritos. I don't want Oreos. I don't want, it's really mind blowing to me how much I do not care. I will make it for my people if that's what they want. My daughter's boyfriend's birthday was in April. I made him a dirt cake. That is a recipe from my childhood. My aunt made it with cream cheese. And, before I would have been like, well, or I'd have made it with gluten-free Oreos and thinking I was doing better. And I'm like, I don't need that. I literally took a piece of Trimtastic cake out of the freezer and I set it in a bowl and I ate that. And then I made his in a disposable pan, so it didn't have to sit in my fridge. And I said, here you go.
There you go.
Take that with you, because it just sit in my house.
Yeah.
But because I'm telling people I can eat all the things. Like I can eat cream cheese. Now I do limit it. Dairy just seems to give me a little bit, but I don't go crazy with it. But I'm like, I can still eat the things. I can have steak. I can have potatoes. I just don't eat them together. I can have cream cheese or heavy cream and pasta. I just don't eat it every single night. Like,
moderation.
I love, and I have it on my mirror in my bathroom. It says everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. And so it really is. I could eat all the things, but I would feel like junk. And so
it's just not worth it. And you're right. It does take time to get there. You are so right. But I still have that desire where I just want to pull that off of me and just inject it in everyone. I just do, because I want it so much for all of my people, my clients and my followers. Like I just want it so bad for them. And I can't stand it when circumstances affect them so significantly and it sends them back to those bad habits. It really breaks my heart, and I just want to fix it for them,
Oh, I know. Because even in our group with Bloom, sometimes when I see the ladies struggle, and part of my mind wants to go, because I've always been an encourager. Like my son will tell you that's his talent. Like he's an encourager like me. So I want to love on people in the best possible way and encourage them. But some I'm like, because I don't, and it's weird, because for me to say I don't struggle with those food things is literally mind blowing to me that I can say that from a point now. but I'm like you, I'm looking there. So I can only imagine how you feel as our coach, because I see some of them and I'm like, but why are they doing that? Like, why? But, but I can say, because I've, I guess, fallen and picked myself back up so many times, but it is, I think sometimes just the stuff you go through, and it's a choice. Like, I choose what goes in my mouth. I can't choose what happens in my day. I can't choose how my husband or my children speak to me. And we have things that go on, but I don't think now, oh, well, they hurt my feelings or they upset me. I'm having a hard day. Let me go eat a pint of ice cream, or let me go eat all the things that I would have eaten before. I don't think about that. And it does makes me sad to see some of the ladies in our group that are struggling. Cause I'm just like, I just want to hug on them. Like, it's okay. Just,
I know.
just clean, or go make you a sipper, girl. Make you, that's why, but you also have to set it up, because it's not, I just think you have to make in your mind, because I've been there before where I was just like, you know what? I don't want to, you act like a 2-year-old, like stirring in person in the potty.
Yeah.
You tell that 2-year-old to sit her behind down and be quiet, because my 2-year-old used to tell me, well, girl, you just want the chocolate, or you just want the chips, just eat them. And then later you feel guilty and you feel ashamed. And I guess that does help me with Trim Healthy Mama. I haven't struggled with like really eating off plan, because I've just chosen not to. But I think which is crazy, because knowing that I don't feel the shame, you would almost think that would open up a door for me to be like, oh, I can have all the things, or I can eat, I can twist this, and I don't. But I don't know. I think you give us all the tools, but I always say you can give 10 people tools to build a house, but they're not all going to build the same thing.
Right.
And you really just have to trust in that plan and know that even when you're not, but to me, even if I didn't lose another pound, let's say I don't hit goal weight. Really, my first goal weight was 187, and I'm 10 pounds under that. I actually weighed less than license has said for 10 years.
Wow.
But even if I don't hit another weight, I know that the plan works because I feel better. Like, we haven't touched on the topic, but I know one of your questions in the thing was like about, have I overcome any health issues? And I have. Before I started Trim Healthy Mama, I felt tired. I thought it was my thyroid. I do have some nodules on it, but I was pre-diabetic and insulin resistant, and my liver enzymes were like, one doctor had said a little elevated. They were like 3 or 4 times the amount they should have. Wow. And in 3 months of watching what I was eating, even dabbling, all those numbers got better, and I've just continued to lose weight. So my doctor, when I go, won't know what to think about herself when I go back in December.
No, I can't wait to hear that.
But I've consistently kept my numbers. I went 6 months, and then it's been, I think I found that out in late April. So I was in the middle of that when I met you, and I was kind of dabbling and just kind of didn't know quite what I was doing. But that's a big deal to me, because I tell people all the time now, and it's not that I didn't know that before, but until maybe it's going through some things like that, or like surgical menopause and things, that you realize that how powerful food is. Powerful. It shouldn't be powerful in the hold that it has over us, but it should be powerful in how it fuels our body and how it heals us if we give it the right things. Because you can't tell me that food is, it's more than fuel, but not in a different way than I thought about it before. It is healing, because like, I cannot believe how much different I feel. And then fitting into a smaller pair of jeans is just icing on top of the cake.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that. We're about done. Is there anything else that you wanted to share with everybody about your story, or any encouraging words or anything like that? Whatever you'd like to share.
Just keep it simple. I love that you teach that to us over and over and over, and probably because some of us don't get it, and it takes some of us but it really is like, it doesn't have to be complicated. I think we've done so much through the group to show that, like, if you travel, you can be on plan. If you go to your in-laws, you can be on plan. And I'm like you, people that love you, if I go to a family or friends and I tell them, hey, I don't need to eat this, or I'll be willing to buy my own, like, I just need this. If they give you a hard time about that, then to me, maybe you shouldn't go visit them. I don't know. I don't see anybody telling me, oh no, I'm not going to provide that, or I won't take you to the store if you didn't have a vehicle. I'm okay to pack it. But just keep it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. Like, it can be done. You can do it on a budget. You can do it while you're traveling. You just have to make the choice ahead of time to say, I'm going to stay on plan. I can do it. I can do hard things.
That's right.
I have my bracelet that I took it off because it was clanking against the desk, but I wear this as a reminder, not because I need to remember that you said that, but I love that. Actually, I can. I don't have to eat all the things, even when my family and my people are eating them. I used to be a little pouty about that and act like a toddler. But go to myself, like, I can't believe it's just not fair that I can't eat this. And now I just don't care. So like, it is okay. You're not gonna be a weirdo. If you're eating something different, it's okay. Pack a snack, pack your lunch bag with like your little toddler self. Grab your little,
Yes, that's right.
it can be done. It can be done in so many different ways that I think we just make excuses because it's easier. And it's not that THM is hard. I think we make it hard. We overcomplicate it.
Mm,
And I feel like
amen.
make a plan. When I went on my trip, I literally made a little list out for myself of every day, kind of like I do here. And I don't plan out snacks and lunches here when I'm at home. I plan out dinners. And then I know if I'm gonna eat dinner this night, I'm gonna probably have that for leftovers the next day.
Right.
Or I'm gonna have, I keep things in the fridge so I have on-plan food. But I don't, when I traveled, I just said, okay, you're gonna eat this for dinner. And I had all the things. I put oatmeal in little cups and dropped them in my little go bag, and I had all my things. So don't overcomplicate it. You just keep it simple and just don't beat yourself up. If you make a mistake and you eat something you didn't think was wrong or right, whatever, just reset in 3 hours. And I don't keep doing that because that would be bad, but give yourself some grace and mercy. And then if you have a question, reach out and ask somebody. There's so many ladies in our group that will gladly answer any question I pose, or you need emails or this. We're all, quick to speak up. And I love that. I love the encouragement in the Southern and Healthy community. That's been a big bonus. All of us cheering each other on and high fives on our posts and things. I love that. So
it is so special. It really is. Cindy was calling it a family the other day, and I was like, that makes my heart so happy. But also in the main THM group, people are so helpful in there as well. If you've not been one of my clients before, I mean, it's a great place to go to, or any of the smaller groups that are out there too for Trim Healthy Mama. Well, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Your mindset is great. What you've done for your family, your health, your progress is incredible. And I'm just super proud of you, and I'm glad that I know you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You want to tell them bye?
Bye.
Bye, y'all.